Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel. In ethics, in today we have seen different dimensions of ethics in the earlier videos. In this video, we will be looking into the next topic of the unit ethics and human interface, that is ethics in private and public relationship. So in this lecture, we will be dealing with ethics in private relationship and public relationship, the Nolan Committee, which explains about the 7 principles of public life, relationship between ethics and private and public relationship, harmony between private and public relationship, along with finally conflict between private and public relationship. So let's look into one by one. Ethics in private relationship. So private relationship are given or inherited, which are relatively permanent and have more tolerance towards the imperfections with family, friends, partners, life partners. These all come under the private relationship. So important values are trust, gratitude, loyalty, mutual respect, love, fidelity, etc. So in private relationship, what do direct the ethics? So individual virtues, universal human values, religion, law of land, social conditioning, these all direct the ethics. But on its part, what are the importance of ethics in private relationship? It leads to good life. When you have good private relationship, it leads to good life and helps to tackle the difficult times. So character development, sticking to values such as honesty, integrity, builds in your character, positive type of character. Acceptance, when you have a good personal ethics, it makes people more acceptable even in your public life. Next is right decision making. You can make a right and sound decision when there is a conflict of interest if you have proper ethics in the public relation, a private relationship. Next comes ethics in public relationship. So ethics in public relation results in ethical values and standards where an individual should adhere in the professional life. So in professional life, he or she might have some power. Values such as honesty, selflessness, expertise, openness, accountability all come into it. So what does the ethics play here? It resolves the conflicts and interests. It helps in navigating the ethical issues and resolves the conflicts. Effective and balanced decision making to make a fair decisions. Courtesy in the sense is extremely important for the conduct of civil servant, where it creates a sense of belonging among general public. Like when a civil servant has a good courtesy, it creates a sense of general among public. They start thinking the public servant or member as their own, and respect gets higher. Next is trustworthy relationship. So even given an organization, there must be trustworthy relationship between manager and the worker, or different stakeholders, and the trust is something which develops or which must be developed in an organization. Next is the spirit of service, which is very much essential, and it's required to go beyond the order, beyond the duty to serve the public interest. So these forms the ethics in private and public relationship. So now let us look into the Nolan Committee, which are the 7 principles of public life. Like Nolan was a member of parliament in the United Kingdom. So he, in his report, he gave us 7 principles of public life, starting from selflessness, integrity, objectivity, accountability, openness, honesty, and leadership, which we will be dealing one by one. So the selflessness is nothing but it emphasizes that public officials should act in the interest of public interest, but not for the personal gain or benefit. Example, in 2010, the 2G spectrum allocation scam exposed a lot of selflessness among some public officials who were involved in corrupt practices for personal gains, which again causes significant damage to the public exchequer. Next is integrity. Integrity is nothing but, as I said numerous times, it is nothing but upholding the moral values at any point of time and situation. Example can be cited as the IAS officer Durga Shakti Nagpal demonstrated the integrity when she took stand against the illegal sand mining activities in Uttar Pradesh despite facing political pressure and threats to her position. Next is objectivity. Making decisions based on facts and evidences rather than personal bias or opinion is objectivity. Where this example of Sam Manakshaw, who is one of the key architects of India's 97 victory over Pakistan, can be called as one great example, because uh, he said that he said former Prime Minister of India Indira Gandhi that the Indian army was not prepared for the war, and he asked for a few months, which Indira Gandhi accepted, and Manekshaw on his part provided India as one of the most rapid and remarkable military victories. Next is accountability. Holders of public office are accountable to the public for their decisions and actions, and it should be noted that they should be submitted for the scrutiny in their offices if something happens. A good example again we can cite here is Lal Bahadur Shastri, when he was the railway minister under Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, in the cabinet of Jawaharlal Nehru. Oh, he resigned in August 1956 following a major railway accident in Mahabubnagar, Andhra Pradesh, where around 112 people died. Shastri resigned, accepting the moral responsibility and accountability, whose actions set high standard for public servants to be accountable to the public. Next one is openness. So openness advocates for the transparency in government functioning, decision making and communication with the public, which involves the sharing information and being accessible to the citizens. So here RTI Act empowers the citizens to seek information from public authorities, which literally promoted the openness and transparency in governance. That is something which can be said. Next comes the honesty. It requires public officials to be truthful and straightforward in their actions, communications, and interaction with the public. A good example is former Indian Police Service officer Kiran Bedi, who gained a reputation for her honesty and integrity during her tenure as a Director General of the Bureau of Police Research and Development. Finally, is the leadership. See, as a civil servant, you should lead something. You should know to lead by example and promote and support those principles by setting a positive example. Dr. Verghese Kurian, who is also known as Milkman of India, demonstrated the leadership in transforming India's dairy industry and empower the farmers through the Operation Flood program. This is a good example which can be called into leadership. So hope you guys are clear with Nolan Committee, the 7 principles of public life. Now let us look into the relationship between ethics in private and public relationship. See, we can call it as exclusive, separate and no watertight operation. So combining two results is complication. See, when we combine two results, it might lead to nepotism and even favoritism. Like the introduction of public relationship into private sphere jeopardizes the sanctity, privacy and intimacy of life. This can be very well seen even in the ancient period, during the course of Mahabharata, where Dhritarashtra mixed his public and private relationship. He knew that his son is unworthy, but still he wanted him to be the king, which he allowed his private relationship with his son to influence his public decision making, which resulted in great war. Next is the different expectation from both the spheres. See, Family judges differently, society judges differently. Okay? And society asks something which has no relevance to family. So you have to deal with that separately. Like Mahatma Gandhi is referred to as father of the nation, but he is not held accountable for his troubled relationship with his own son. That is something we should know. It has different expectation from both the spheres. But another set of groups says that there is no watertight separation between public and private relationship. Not feasible. See, public and private relationship usually overlap and mix, because of which they cannot be separated. For example, the President of United States and his wife, the First Lady, have a critical public relationship. Politicians, family, and marriages are openly discussed in the United States, which cannot be kept aside in any part. Even in India, we do that. So it's not easy to differentiate the public and private relationship, not separable. Some values and ethics are shared by both public and private relationship, like honesty, politeness. These are all desirable in both the family and the workplace. So it's not again separable. So now let us look into the harmony between private and public relationship. The positives. Starting from the positives, integrity. Yeah, said numerous times. Upholding the moral principles given in any certain point, time, and situation. Mental and physical well-being. See, when there's harmony between ethics and public in private and public relationship, your chances of stress and anxiety reduces. Your mind will be clear more, and you can easily take decisions properly. So peace and harmony in society. See, if people practice the same ethics in public and private sphere, the chances of peace and harmony increase. Example can be said as in Scandinavian countries, people practice kindness and ethical rules in public as well as private sphere, which is one of the main reason they are called the most peaceful and happiest countries in the world. We should learn from them how to apply that ethics in public and private sphere, which can in turn make India a better happy country. Next is the negatives, stagnation in society. See, if the personal and public ethics of all persons are same, sometimes it might lead to stagnation in society with little scope of evolution. A T.N. Session, former chief election commissioner, who declined to bow down to the political adversaries and brought about major electoral reforms, which is said to be a turning point in the history of Election Commission of India. If he has not changed or not or bowed down to the political adversaries, Election Commission of India would have been stagnant till recently. Next is group decision. Harmony between public and private ethics might lead to creation of group values and decisions. Sometimes several wrongs are justified in such cases, like Cup Panchayatis in India, or gender bias and condemn the freedom of women intercaste marriages, like it leads to justification of honor killing, female feticide, lack of education to girls, etc. Public or private ethics may not always be right. Yes, of course. Since a person has his owns right or wrong as per one's own convenience, the same may not be right or wrong generally. Taliban's regime of banning the co-education road trips by solo women, women appear in television dramas in Afghanistan is considered right by Taliban. Okay, but the same is condemned by the Afghan citizens as well as the outside world. So we can really know what's happening there. So just because you feel it right doesn't mean it is right. Okay, that is something which should be very well taken into care. Now let us look into the conflict between private and public relationship. Inconsistency in behavior, like when there is conflict between private and ethics in private and public life may lead to failure in either or both. A good example can be cited as Keshav Chandra Sen was one of the reformer in the colonial during the colonial period, opposed to child marriage but married his own daughter, underage daughter, the Maharaja of Kuch Bihar. Because of his private life, his followers abandoned him and founded Sadharan Brahma Samaj. So it created a conflict, inconsistency in behavior. Next is maybe averse to the interest of society. So private relationship in public sphere may lead to nepotism and favoritism. See, similarly, public relationship in private sphere undermines the sanctity, privacy, and intimacy of private life. This example we have seen earlier, like Mahabharata, the conflict took place within Dhritarashtra because he mixed his private and public relationship. Next is the crisis of conscience. So it is a time when people are worrying because they think that they have done something unfair or morally wrong. This happens when people are forced to take immoral decisions and implement unethical policies. See, in the public domain, uh, whether a caring society can exist in a market economy is a manifestation of crisis of conscience. It is difficult to uh, for caring society to exist in market economy because everyone goes towards profit, and eventually economy will serve only one interest of the a small part of the society and leave the larger part behind. So this is something public and private relationships say about. So that's it for today's lecture. We dealt about the ethics and private and public relationship in detail, the different conflicts, different Nolan committee, harmony, everything between the private and public relationship. So the presentation, the PPT will be put in the Telegram group and the notes for the same will be put after the entire unit ends. So do support guys, do like, share and subscribe the channel and the video. So we'll continue with the next topic in the next video. Thank you.